There's this lie that gets peddled a lot nowadays when it comes to story criticism, and it was very popular especially during the Star Wars The Last Jedi controversy. One of the leading defenses of The Last Jedi was, it's just a movie for children about space wizards and starships.
This is a film about space wizards intended for children.
It's a movie about space wizards.
This argument is a deflection, implying that because it's intended for children or fantastical in nature, it's not something to criticize. That, as long as the subject matter is childish by nature or is clearly not realistic, then surely critiquing it or hating it is the act of an overly sensitive individual who is overreacting to something that is beneath them. I want to first dismantle this argument and expose it for the lie that it is, but to do that, I want to tackle a much larger question. Is fantasy or children's art still relevant even as an adult? Let's explore both facets. The first thing we need to determine is what separates children's entertainment from adult entertainment, and the answer is surprisingly little. Children's media will often have lighthearted endings, they will usually not have a large amount of graphic content or sexual content or swearing, and they will often rely on more colorful, flashy, or exciting elements. My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic is most definitely a children's show. It has bright and colorful characters, the conflicts are usually very minor and easy to spoon-feed to children, and every episode ends with a very happy ending. Children consume this easily. That's not to say that children's entertainment can't engage in darker or more graphic content. The Land Before Time is filled with dark, frightening imagery, and even an on-screen death of the protagonist's mother.
Mother? Mother?
Don Bluth, the director of the project, famously said, "You can show dark or scary things to children as long as you end the story with a happy and uplifting ending." Don was onto something there. Shows like My Little Pony are different from The Land Before Time because My Little Pony avoids addressing cold realities. Life has darkness in it. There is death, loss, pain, fear, danger, and resentment. Sheltering a child from this provides for bright and colorful fantasy, but it also infantilizes them.
Now, Applejack, I completely respect the Apple family ways. You're always there to help any pony in need, so maybe you can put a little of your stubborn pride aside and allow your friends to help you.
But Don Bluth knew well that children should be allowed to glimpse some of the darkness of the real world. By understanding the darker aspects of the real world, it helps them mature, grow, and understand not only the world, but themselves and how they react to the world.
I miss her so much.
And you'll always miss her. But she'll always be with you, as long as you remember the things she taught you. In a way, you'll never be apart.
The happy ending provides an uplifting close, but also encourages children to pursue that ending in their own struggles. It is entertainment and it is uplifting. Both MLP and Land Before Time have their place. Both are children's content, but both are vastly different. When cynical defenders of The Last Jedi argue, this is a movie intended for children about space wizards, they are resorting Star Wars as a franchise down to the level of something like My Little Pony, thus degrading the quality of the very film they are defending. It is the equivalent of standing up for your friend against a bully by saying, "Hey, don't call my friend stupid. Dumb people have feelings too." In your attempt to defend the thing you cherish, you devalue it and make it less than what it is, which is a shame because even children's content like My Little Pony does have value. But these defenders are afraid that, by applying even rudimentary value to Star Wars, then it can fall under criticism. It is an unconscious admittance that their beloved movie is flawed, but, instead of accepting this, they want to pretend the film is beneath such honors as critical discussion. And yet, even MLP and Land Before Time are worthy of discussion. Therefore, to resort Star Wars even lower is to discredit children's entertainment in general and to misunderstand what Star Wars is all at once. After all, if the film is beneath criticism for being children's content, then obviously the reverse must also be true. It is therefore beneath appreciation from the defender. If the art form presented is so insignificant that it is folly to even critique it, then by that logic, it would be foolish to enjoy it in any capacity. Otherwise, the question must be asked, what is there to enjoy about it? Once the defender begins to answer this question, they have committed a double standard. By applying critical value to the art they are at first said was below critical value, they now are creating this double standard as I've mentioned. Now this leads to the next question. Does it even matter? Let's suppose that children's content is not beneath criticism, and therefore we can criticize it in the same way we criticize adult content. Then does children's content matter as much as adult content? The answer to this should be obvious once you understand what art is. Stories shape our culture and our society. We formulate a lot of what we believe, stand for, and grow from thanks to stories. Ask anyone if there was a movie, book, or show that had an impact on them, and they will likely say yes. By that logic, then, children's content has the potential to start shaping our culture at the earliest stage of development. That's why we care so much about what children are exposed to in schools and what they might learn. Why education takes such an important place in political discussion, because children are the future, and we should be careful about what they consume. If what children consume really has no relevance, then it also shouldn't matter what children are exposed to in the education system. Children shape most of their identity and personality from what they consume in media, and if we're truly content to let TikTok raise our children, you will be frightened by the end result.
The drink deemed Borgs, or blackout rage gallons, is encouraging students to binge drink copious amounts of alcohol from gallon jugs. The infamous drink is trending on TikTok with videos showing Borg recipes, Borg challenges, and Borg puns.
Of course, children's content matters, because our children matter, and as they matter, what they consume also matters. If you disagree with this fundamental point, then would you let your children watch a porno film? After all, if children's content does not matter, and there's no value to be had in it, and what they consume is, after all, irrelevant, then surely that would be appropriate, correct? Or do you perhaps think there is some merit to what children should be exposed to? What I truly want to get across here is that children's media is not a simple and meaningless affair. You cannot, on the one hand, praise it for its incredible potential and awesome progressive insights into culture, but then dismiss any criticism of it with, it's just a simple movie about made-up things, don't think about it. By praising it at all, you apply value, and by applying value, you thus open it to criticism. For anything that accrues value requires scrutiny to truly appreciate that value. If you find a diamond among the coal, then that diamond must still be appraised for its value. Further, children's media is not something to be hand-waved aside in any case, as what we give to our children needs to matter to us. What do we want our kids to take from the movies, shows, and books they absorb? What are the things they will take and simulate? Children are sponges to stimuli. What they see, they will mimic and replicate to those around them. Because of this, if anything, we should be more critical of children's media than even adult media. But never fall for the lie that fantasy and children's content does not hold value. It most certainly does. If it did not, I would not show it to my children. Jangling keys in the face of my children was fine when they were infants, and I wanted them to giggle at it. But as they grow older and grow old enough to comprehend a story and its meaning, I want that content to do more than just make them giggle. I want them to think about it, for thinking critically about something will help them grow. When people rush to the deflection of, it's just a children's piece of media, get over it, they actually devalue children's content as a whole and the content they are in fact defending. By saying children's content is beneath scrutiny, you deprive it of any value, when in fact, children's content has the potential to be even more valuable than adult content, as children will be more easily shaped by the media they consume. If you are seeking to write a children's story, be very aware that just being for children does not allow you free rein and allow you to avoid criticism. We care about our children, therefore we should care about the stories that they consume.